Mr. Kundra, man.
Crazy, fam.
We're here.
3
Let
years
know.
later. 3 years
Let
later.
them know where we at, where we going.
Bro, on our way right now to 501 Passmore. 26-inch U-Haul truck. Making a trip right now to our first unit ever. 501 Passmore Avenue. Save that address.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Save that address. Save that address. Save that address, fam. Save that address. We're on our way there right now. Got my boy behind the camera. Show yourself. JV Panu on the camera right now.
Yes, sir. But this time not for the first. This time not the first time though. For the last time.
For the last time. But yo, what's wild is I've watched that video so many times that I remember the word by word, the play by play of that video.
Oh my days.
You know what I'm saying? Tell me you haven't watched that video at least 100 times.
All the time, bro.
You know what I'm saying? It's insane. Making a stop right now to 501. Yo, we're about to go to Passmore right now, the warehouse that we moved into 3 years ago, to just show you guys what is going on in there now and what is upcoming. You know, it's a brand new chapter right now that's gonna be opening up, and we're gonna be closing up the old one.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna show you guys what's going down right now in the new warehouse.
Ah.
Yeah.
Let's get to it, man.
Let's get to it, bro.
Episode 1.
Let's run it down. The inertia?
I'm about it.
Inertia part will be let's
Say
stop.
less. I'm down.
I think we could actually do it.
All right, my people, we're posted. It is no joke. Take a look at that. You see this? Oh, it's flipped.
Was it 4 a.m. right now?
3:45.
What time is it?
4 exactly on the dot. So you can see. 3:45 a.m., dude. While we are
Insane.
here, posted up, recording. The real life inertia.
Podcast. No cap.
Um,
Can't even call this really a podcast.
I don't know what this is, man.
This is
What-
fam. I think
What
this
is
is I think this is our last day at the warehouse. And I had to bring the guy that came and helped move into the warehouse, to the warehouse,
Yeah,
and just fucking shoot the shit, you know?
it's crazy. 3 years ago, when did you move in? 2021 what?
Moved in here 2021,
2021, but like 1 month.
November. Like literally like 2 days from now, we moved into this warehouse.
That's actually fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah.
3 years ago, almost to the exact date.
Yeah. Bro, I think we got the keys a couple days early, so like it might have been today where we moved in 3 years ago.
That's so fun.
Like, what is that? Almost fucking 1,200 days? 1,200 days, bro. When you think about it in days,
Yo.
puts it into perspective how much time
Does it feel like that?
you've put towards a project, you know?
Does it feel like that?
Fam, no. Definitely not.
That's,
It doesn't feel like that. Bro, when you're living it every single day, it doesn't really feel like that, you know?
it really, it's kind of paradoxical. I think it feels further than it was.
Yeah.
Like it feels like 5 years ago. Like we look at that video, like who we were then
Yeah.
compared to now. But you also think about it, it also kind of just feels like yesterday. It also literally just feels like yesterday where everything is kind of just coming together.
Yeah.
So he's got this, he got that. Okay, yo, this machine, that machine now, like all this the way it just progresses.
When you guys pulled up, like when you guys were like just kind of creeping up to the truck, I seen you guys looking from a distance, that moment, and then you started helping move the boxes inside the fucking, the truck.
Yeah.
We moved them all in here. It kind of felt like we were relapsing again.
Mm-hmm.
That exact same moment, you know?
Okay. But bro,
We're
it
like,
is
what? Bro, like, what? I'm already one energy drink in right now.
time to, I think the only way that this is gonna run is if we're able to crack open another
Yeah,
one,
bro, we gotta up the fucking ante
Cover
right now.
that label. It's not sponsored yet.
Not yet.
What was that,
Not yet.
Celsius? What even is this, bro?
It's pretty fire.
Red Bull?
Read
Why
it,
did they
read-
change the branding?
Read the flavor, man.
Yeah, but yo, what is this
Read
summer
the
edition?
flavor.
shit?
Try read
Hey, man. Yo, bro.
Read the flavor.
Summer edition.
The summer edition, read it. Karuba.
Karuba elderflower, artificially flavored, bro.
Yo, you know these guys are mad secretive with their thing and shit though too, right?
Ingredients, yeah. Yeah.
For sure. Yo, you should listen to Founders episode about the guy, the founder of Red Bull. Incredible. This guy's nuts. One of my favorite episodes.
Bro, let's get wired. Let's just get wired
I'm down, bro.
and just lock in and just absorb where we are at right now.
Really and truly, bro. Really and truly. Oh. You know, if we actually strip it back,
Yeah.
3 years ago today,
Yeah.
take everyone back to that exact moment, bro.
Yeah. Which moment?
that moment, like when you were pondering, okay, so you're there in your basement's fucking filled up left, right. Like now it's actually gone to the point where you cannot even sustain running your business out of your house.
Yeah.
House is full, rooms are full. Remember you used to have that room, one room was a photography studio. But this guy's bedroom, oh my God, bro, we're gonna put this up on the screen. This guy's bedroom was bed, this much was his closet of his own stuff. Everything else was literally just inventory.
Yeah.
Inventory here, inventory there. You could not walk through this guy's house, bro. Literally. So you're in that.
It was a 4-bedroom house in Brampton.
Yeah.
So it was like what, 2,500 square feet? And bro, like 2,000 vintage pieces. Not a lot. When you really think about it, quantify it, it's not a lot of inventory.
Relative, sure.
But when you put it in such a tiny fucking crib, you really start to feel the lack of space.
Let alone, bro, the basement.
Yeah.
Basement, bro, boxes and boxes full everywhere.
Basement was absolutely flooded, bro. The basement was somewhat organized. It was the bedrooms, bro.
Yeah.
2 bedrooms were like photography studios. Obviously, like I didn't have the setup that you guys have. I had fucking 2 lights off Amazon. What's that brand that everybody uses off Amazon, bro? Newer lights?
Yeah,
$150 lights, bro.
Newer lights?
I had
Dude, I was on the same tip. Yo, I literally just got a I just got like a 4-year ago memory of when I got the mocha drops. Remember that mocha? The mochas, like I had that raffle, that crazy one, and I had the same exact lights, bro. I had the same exact newer thing lights off Amazon.
Yeah.
And like, for the fact that we actually made you popping off like what, $50 lights, bro?
Bro, it's not about the lights. It's about the person who's
That
like
was crazy.
shooting. Like, what are you doing with your trenchy setup?
Oh my God.
Right?
Bro.
Are you producing?
Facts.
Right?
But take us back. So you're in this moment where everything is just chaos. And now you're moving into this spot right here that we're sitting in.
So there's actually like a part of the journey that I usually skip out on, right?
Yeah.
So like right when I dropped out in 2019, I was selling out of the room, right? I was selling out of basically I started a sneaker page, Northwears. Like you were selling sneakers when you were like 18. When I was 18, I was selling, well, you were what, 17?
No, I was 15.
You were 15, okay. I started selling sneakers at like 17.
Yeah, going into uni, right?
Yeah, my page used to be called Northwears, okay?
Northwears, yeah.
Just like a little node to like the city of like Toronto, whatever, North Canada code. We called it Northwears. So we started selling sneakers, and very quickly I got a job at Value Village. So I started selling vintage clothing, right? Right when I started selling vintage clothing, I was going into uni the next year. So I took all the gear that I was collecting and I started selling it on eBay and Etsy. What ended up happening is I was shipping out packages, but my roommates were kind of catching a drift that I was like selling gear. And they had questions. They were like, yo, like, what do you got really going on? And they started coming into my closet and just shopping through pieces I had and just giving me cash. And then I started to kind of see that, yo, maybe I could start flipping this stuff to people in my school, not only just sell it on eBay and be hush-hush about it. So I go from there and I launched a Shopify website, and I realized that Northwears is just like not really cutting it if I want to build a brand. Back then, bro, I was like buying and selling domain names. And, domain names, like Instagram usernames. I went down this crazy rabbit hole where like I started learning about crypto. I started learning about the deep web. I started buying and selling usernames, and I stumbled fucking upon ICY. This guy from New York had this username ICY. And at that time, I bought that username for, do you know this story?
No, I don't. I actually do not even know this story that you're telling right now.
Bro, I've recorded a YouTube video on this right now, but like, it's so like, bro, it makes me so like almost emotional because like, it's just a crazy experience I had and I almost like quit because of it, right? 2018, I was just like selling and like I wanted to rebrand because I wasn't selling sneakers. I wanted to start selling vintage clothing. So I go down the rabbit hole of like, domains, usernames, and I find this guy selling the username ICY. Bro, if you're buying and selling Instagram usernames, Twitter usernames, that's a whole marketplace.
Yeah.
That still exists today too.
Bro, I know.
You probably know about
you still
it.
have that passion, bro. You still always like, I remember, bro, it's the same thing. Even when I started Stay Dripped, that was the first thing you were saying, like, yo, you got to get these domains down.
Yeah.
Bro, I had Stay Dripped. I still have all the different, bro, Stay Dripped, Shop Stay Dripped, StayDripped.com, StayDripped.net, StayDripped.ca, all these because of the fact that you always used to drill it. And I never really knew, but you were just super you were just anal about just, domains this, domains that. You don't know the values about all this stuff. I had that part before I even started a Shopify page. I had StayDripped.com for like 2 years before that.
Since a kid, bro, I've just been like, not even since a kid, I feel like from kind of a young age, I realized that, it's got to be a .com because I would just study the big brands, right? And then username wise too, I'm just like, I don't ever want a username that has a dot, a period, a comma. It's got to be a clean handle. If you don't have a clean Instagram username and you're a business, you just fucking weren't creative enough, right? Come on, like get to it, right? You have a clean Instagram username, clean. You know, we put the effort into rebranding.
For sure.
Right? You got to do it. But bro, I ended up buying this username on this marketplace called OG Usernames for, at that time, 1 Bitcoin. 1 Bitcoin in 2018 was $8,000.
Yeah.
Right? So like today's value right now, today live price of Bitcoin is 134,000. I was just browsing right before.
Yeah.
$134,000. So of value right now, that's how much I spent. Okay? Within 4 months of me having that username, Instagram sends me a letter and they say, we're seizing your account. Like your account is permanently banned. So like in the industry of like Instagram usernames, there's permanent ban, and then there's like, you could appeal the ban.
Yeah.
This wasn't a appeal this ban. This was like, your Instagram is literally shut down and there's nothing you can do. Bro, I fucking lost my mind. Imagine being fucking 17 years old. You spent all of your OSAP money that you were supposed to spend on fucking textbooks,
Yeah.
food, rent, and you bought it on, you spent it like in Bitcoin to some fucking guy in New York on a username. Can you justify that to anybody you know? Bro, I kept that shit so quiet. So
I wouldn't know what to do with myself.
Bro, Sukcha doesn't know. Nobody knows. At that time, I mean, Pete knows now, but at that time, bro, I didn't tell nobody. I was so ashamed of myself. I'm like, bro, I bought this Bitcoin. Am I fucking mentally challenged? Like, who am I? You know? Bro, so I ended up losing the username, and like for a whole month, I'm like, yo, I don't want to do this anymore. I've just lost all my money. I have all this inventory, vintage. I have some sneakers too. What the fuck do I do here? Let me just go back to school. Or let me just like keep my head down and just grind out this great program I'm in. I got into a pretty decent program.
Yeah.
Like Laurier BBA was, I'd say, a pretty decent school. But like I just wasn't really that thrilled about being in that program. Like I always just wanted to like build something. I was always just like tinkering away at just random projects, whether it was like domains, whether it was usernames, whether it was fucking just like sneakers. I was always just interested in flipping shit, like buying stuff, selling it, trying to find a spread between like the buy and the sell. Right? But bro, like a month later, I'm just like, yo fam, like why am I overthinking a username? Let me just rebrand to Wear Icy and just launch this shit. Yeah. Ended up launching it, and now we're at where we're at, you know?
Most definitely. So then when you're in that exact place of, so now this timeline of the journey that you're in, you're what, 22? When you're buying this place, you were 22.
When I was getting this spot right here, I was 2021 would have put me at 22. Yeah.
So you're 22 years old.
Yeah.
And tell them about your, like that exact.
You said drink one time,
yeah?
Yeah.
Tell me about that, like that journey right there too, like where you had your knee sprained. Not sprained, what was it?
I tore my ACL. I tore my ACL, MCL, and my Achilles.
Yo.
2 months before.
Not Achilles?
Yeah, bro, I had.
Your Achilles?
Yeah, bro. I tore my ACL, MCL, and my Achilles. They call it a golden triad.
Oh, wait, your Achilles? Kobe.
Brother, yeah, I tore literally my entire knee and up to my shin was gone.
Yo, what?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a very serious injury, bro.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All I'll tell you is do not fucking play any sport if you're hungover.
Oh my days.
You know, I was literally out partying with the guys. I go to a basketball run the next day. I hop on the court. I'm 30 minutes late to fucking the run. I just jump on it, warm up or anything. Right when I go on, I'm playing with footballers, bro. I get fucking just a little nudge. I fall to the floor. My knee's this way, and I'm just like laying on the ground. I turn my knee this way. Loudest pop of the gym.
Oh my.
The whole gym is just looking at me like, oh, like faces are being made. It's over at that point. That happened in September. We had to move in this warehouse in November. So no, bro, that happened October 31st, happened the day of Halloween. So November 1st, bro, November 1st it happened. We were supposed to move in here November 30th. Exactly 1 month before I was supposed to move in here, I tore my ACL. So like when I came to even look at the spot, I was on crutches.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah.
And you barely just had that, you were able to just walk barely when you got here. And that's why I remember you just did a little dancey dance. Like, yeah, I was like, yeah, how's your knee? You're like, yo, let's remember?
Yeah, I remember that. Actually, when I first came to look at this spot, I wasn't on crutches. But the second time I met the landlord, I was on crutches.
When you're on, yeah.
So when they saw me for the second time, they were concerned, bro. They were like, what the fuck happened to you? Like, they weren't even comfortable renting to me. But they, I guess, had no choice because like lease agreements were signed at that point. You know what I'm saying?
So how'd you feel? Like, bro, what was going through your mind at that time?
Yo, I never treated the injury like it was that serious for some reason. Like when you're 22 and you're like about to get your first like real space, bro, the euphoria of just a new chapter kind of exceeds any injury you have. Like I almost ignored it, bro. I was on crutches, like I was whipping, to be honest. Like you just crutch your way into the car and then you're driving, fam.
Yeah.
So I never treated it really like it was a big deal because I felt like it was gonna be fine. Like fam, like you said, Kobe, these basketball players, they go through these crazy fucking knee injuries and they make it through. They're back on the court in what, a matter of 6 months? So like I never really thought it was a big deal.
Yeah,
but looking back at it, yeah, I should have taken it more seriously because I'm still dealing with the knee injury now. 3 years later, fam, like my knee is still giving me some trouble because I didn't take it serious. Speaking of the injury, right when we opened up our store, we opened up our store. I ended up going to get surgery right after we opened our store. So I was waiting to get surgery so that we would open up our shop first. Right when we had our grand opening, remember the grand opening?
Mm-hmm.
A week after the grand opening, I got surgery. But I was supposed to wait 6 weeks to come back to the warehouse. I did not wait 6 weeks. Because at that time, it was just Nehal and 2 other people running the whole warehouse down. And I was beyond nervous, bro. I didn't feel like my team at that time was strong enough to hold it down, but they were.
Yeah.
I was just like young and didn't really have an understanding of how to manage people.
Bro, what the hell?
Yeah.
Being in that state, bro, holy.
Yeah.
So then you get to, this is November 2022.
Yeah.
So you move in here and now like this is the point. Okay, so yo, so this is the time too, like I remember you were telling me your specific concerns about like, yo, like obviously you're wildly ambitious. It doesn't matter what the fuck it is. Like I know you always, like, I think this is definitely just a trait that we share.
Yeah.
No matter what we're gonna do, we just think we can revive it. For example, like if it's a leader, like it's just that power. Like even the way that we talk all day today, we've been just betting on certain shit. Like we're so certain on the things that we speak about.
Yeah.
No matter how crazy or delusional they sound.
Yeah.
So even the fact of saying like you knew like you were aware, like, okay, yo, vintage is bumping, sure. Like I'm just making money arbitrage wise.
Yeah.
But like long scale distance, like you would always bring up this one example. You're like, I don't really know any billionaires that make vintage.
Yeah, you remember me saying that too?
Bro, plenty of times.
Yeah.
And you said this 2021.
But when I was moving into the warehouse,
Exactly.
I kind of acknowledged.
You acknowledge that fact.
Yeah.
Right? And at this time, you like, I'm sure like at this time, you probably thought you were going to be the first billionaire in vintage.
I thought
right?
so, yeah.
But you were also well aware of the fact that it's a dying market.
Yeah.
Right? So before you fully like came to terms with that fact, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing in that exact moment? Like, okay, yo, I'm here. Like, I don't have an injury, whatever. Let's say it's like, it's not even like, you're not even worried about anything that's outside of this. You're here, you're in this unit.
Yeah.
Like, you're excited. What was that excitement about? Like, what was your plan business-wise to, like, in that moment too? Like, okay, you just went from literally going from a 2,500 in like 2,500 square foot house to what the fuck is this big ass unit?
Yeah.
Like
5,000 square feet, yeah.
Doubled it.
Yeah.
You doubled it. So what was the scale of operations? What was going through your head? Like,
I'll tell you, yeah. So yo, you were talking about just like, talking about just like the drive and ambition for like creating a business. So yo, even when I first moved in here, I always thought about what grand scale could look like in that industry. So most people that are running vintage businesses, they think about arbitrage, just buying a garment, reselling it. Bro, the other side of the vintage business is the textile industry. So when I moved into this business, I thought about setting up production lines here. I'm like, man, I could literally set up a conveyor belt going right down the warehouse. I have bales opening up on that side. At the very end, I have a grader, and then the grader would section off different piles, A grade, B grade, C grade. If anybody understands like the textile industry, like you know what a rag house textile recycling plant looks like. So I thought I was gonna end up creating this into like a recycling plant. That's what like the long-term goal would have been if I was in vintage. It would be not me being a vintage clothing store, it would be me having a recycling plant. If you're in any industry, you have to think what the largest scale could look like in that industry, right? So even when we shift right now to like what we're doing now, I think about what is the absolute largest scale that I could take this to. That's the only option I want, you know?
Most definitely. But that, now you went from vintage though to then shifting into graphic tees, what is the time in between from vintage all the way to those tees? What's happening throughout that whole thing?
Yeah. So like we didn't start selling tees up until I'd say like late 2022.
Yeah.
But from 2021 to 2022, we had a whole year where we were just a vintage clothing store. But I don't know, man. That year was kind of what shaped my whole identity. Like it shaped my character because it taught me how to take losses on my chin. Because vintage obviously wasn't a profitable industry.
Yep.
If you're running a vintage clothing store in the middle of, butt Scarborough, you don't have any anchors, bro. This is not a mall, right? If you're running a retail store, you want powerful anchors around you, bro. You want a Walmart, you want some kind of department store so that people can go to that store and then come check you out too. I didn't have that. So if people were coming to our shop, they were coming on the basis of, hey, I'm coming to Icy today. How many people are really gonna carve out a portion of their day to come to a vintage clothing store? Some people, but not enough to sustain a living. So I'd say for a whole year, from the day we opened up the warehouse to the end of 2022, before we started the clothing brand or started making any clothes, I took a loss every single day. Every single day here, bro. Straight up. I used to come to the warehouse here. I'd pull up, my first car obviously was like the Civic, right? I'd pull up here and, I'd probably pull up to the warehouse around like, I'd say like 9 a.m. and I'd be here like late. I'd be here late, just like taking pictures of items, like, bringing items from the laundromat, sorting out these products, right? Managing the inventory on our Shopify, fulfilling orders, creating packing labels, then shipping these goods out. At that time, like the company that we work with now for shipments, they weren't coming to do pickups because we didn't have volume. If you don't have a lot of volume and you're an e-commerce business, they're not gonna really show you love. We had to go drop packages off all the way, right?
Getting creative with the shipping.
Using
different like middlemen.
100%. But like, bro, the vintage clothing business was very tricky because everything is one of one, right? So like you put all this crazy time and energy into one item just to sell it one time. Now, if somebody, let's say you're wearing one of the vintage products that I sell you, and somebody like, let's say Tej wants to wear that product, or he asks you, yo, where did you get that? He can't go and buy that product. So the sale and the scalability ends there. It ends with you, JV Pandu, wearing that garment. And that would drive me crazy. I'm like, yo, if I just put all this energy, if I just put over an hour to 2 hours into one product, what's really left on the table, one? And how do I let people find out what I'm doing? There's no growth here, right? So a full year, I know I'm in the wrong industry because I can't scale this for what my passion actually has the capabilities to achieve, right? People are not coming to our shop. Salaries are being paid for everybody on my staff, but I'm taking a loss every day. I'm literally burning through my savings, bro. When you come into a warehouse at this size, you have to pull together some savings. So from the day I dropped out up until I'd say 2021 when we opened up the warehouse, I pulled together every dollar I had because you have to, right? If you have dreams of opening up a warehouse, you have that 2 to 3 year period where you can stack up and save. And just imagine burning through all your savings within 1 year.
It's cooked.
Right? It's cooked.
It's cooked.
It's fucking cooked. Right? Every day you're coming, you're taking loss after loss. Like your staff are able to like obviously sustain a living as they should, but you have to get creative on how can I make money here, right? And how do you also maintain the energy level of yourself so that your staff doesn't know that, hey, we're struggling.
How were you? How were you maintaining that energy level? That's
You have to fake it, bro. You have to almost delusionally convince yourself that you're winning, right? Because the moment, and you could probably speak to this too, like the moment you let your staff figure out that things are not working, the morale of the company is just out the water.
Bro, the nature of business, like what was it? It was like Naval or Nicholas, like Nassim Taleb, yeah. They say, I think the nature of entrepreneurship is literally you bleed a little every
day by day.
You just
death by 1,000 cut.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you just bleed a little.
Yeah.
And eventually you get that fat payout.
Yeah.
And that's what it is these.
You just don't really know that you're like really going cut by cut though at that time.
You don't feel it.
You know?
I think that's what it is.
But even if you do feel it as the founder of a business, as a leader of a business, you can't let anybody on the team figure that out, right? Now, a lot of people, when they're working for a startup, they're putting their passion aside. A lot of people, everybody has a dream of starting a business, right?
For sure.
So if you're going to join another company, you're putting your dream aside to go and build somebody else's, right?
Maybe you get equity and you now have a build stream, but not often does that happen. So, bro, I had to not only convince myself, but convince my staff that, yo, we're winning. Like, yeah, okay, sales might look relatively low to what industry standard might be or what you might think success looks like. But for us in this tiny warehouse, we're doing okay.
For sure.
Little did they know, obviously, that, bro, we have advertising budget. We obviously have staff payouts. We have warehouse overhead, utilities, cost of shipping. Bro, obviously the cost of a business, what a business looks like online versus what's happening behind the scenes, light and day. Nobody actually knows. A business can look profitable online and to be brutally struggling behind the scenes. And opposite too, there's businesses that don't have no social media presence. They've never made an Instagram post and they're racking in millions.
For sure.
I've seen both sides.
Yeah.
You know? How do you find healthy balance though? I mean, that's anybody else could kind of build towards that though.
I don't know. I feel like in that, it just depends. I feel like, to be honest, there might be arrogance on both sides. I think, for example, the businesses that don't have any social media presence that are bringing in millions,
Yeah.
they don't necessarily find any value. They're like, why the do I need to go post on social media or whatever it is and try to divert my energy and resources
Yeah.
into something when I could just continue doing what I'm doing and clearly I'm fucking successful.
100%.
Versus you play on the flip side of also the people that are on social media where they still also need to play the game, where it's like, yo, they might look completely successful in the back end they're not, but that kind of goes into the same thing where, yo, there's even the same thing how you have to put on a show for your employees to be like, hey, like, because even if you're not winning right now, you still believe that you can win in the future.
100%.
And we scale, if we extrapolate that timeline from, let's say, 2 years ago where, you know, sales relatively weren't there, to now you have fucking, bro, like, yo, every time people even see the vlogs, like, dude, this, bro, you can't walk. Now is literally so many orders fucking everywhere, bro.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of fucking orders just like boom, 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 going out.
Yeah.
At that time, you still believe hundreds of thousands of orders will still be going out.
Yeah.
But you have to still put on that front. That strong front is just,
bro, a front honestly is like the start of the story, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
always.
You know that bin cart that I have in my warehouse? You ever see that rolling bin cart?
Yeah.
What if I told you that rolling bin cart, I used to fucking fill the bottom of the bin cart up with random filler and t-shirts and then put orders at the top of the bin cart to make it look like I had a lot of orders.
Of course, bro.
For Instagram stories.
You have to, bro. You're playing the game. Instagram is a social game, bro.
Yeah, I had to make it look like I had a lot of orders before I actually had a lot of orders, bro. I'm telling you, 90% of just building a business is brutally trying to convince yourself that you could, one, do it, and two, that you're already working towards it. If you're in the game and you're playing towards it, you have to realize that you got to take it day by day.
For sure. It's brick by brick.
It's brick by brick, man. It's brick by brick. What the fuck? Like, I'm a big believer in fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think it's just believe it till you make it.
Yeah. Believe it till you make it is definitely.
It's just faith, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's all that it really comes down to. Having the vulnerability of putting yourself out there in that position.
Yeah.
It's just a testament to your future self, to be honest.
Yeah.
Being like, you know, I ain't all that. I ain't where I want to be, maybe.
Yeah.
Right now in this current moment. But in due time, brick by brick, building behind the scenes eventually, then they see a huge empire. And they're like, yo, damn. I think that's the purpose of this whole video that we're making right now. This little episode is to show, like, look at what the fuck we're sitting on.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Empty warehouse. You thought we were gonna have chairs here today.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, we don't got no chairs.
I thought we were gonna have
no
water
furniture
here today. No water, no chair.
No.
The heat is barely working right now.
We are sharing an energy drink.
We're sharing an energy.
Sip by sip. Mine is empty. Yours is on the fucking ground. I have half a fucking Fiji water. We probably won't even have enough of this by the end of this.
Oh man. And I'm sitting here, my ass is hurting. You're on a lawn chair, and I'm sitting on a fucking box of clothes.
Don't worry, man. I'll switch with you if you want. I'll take the box if you want.
Don't worry. It's all good, man. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, is a realness, is a rawness, because I think we just came, we've always had that faith in ourselves, that level of just sheer willpower, that sheer confidence that you just need to have in order to succeed.
Yeah.
And now us venturing into this new space of, like, even cooking up content, whatever the fuck it is, deep down, like you and I, the conversation that we were to have off camera or any of that shit, we already know we won.
Yeah.
We already know we're gonna fucking win. But it's just the fact that understanding that this is also part of the process. This is also part of the journey. So even if it doesn't look like we're winning right now, we in some fucking crazy ass multi-million-dollar studio with some fucking crazy ass setup, crazy ass crew. We got fucking galore behind the camera.
Yeah.
We got galore behind the camera. Little force production.
Yeah.
Like this is it, bro. This is like real life.
Yeah.
Imagine we thought it was real. Like we
But
did.
the thing is, bro, we recorded every single moment back then. Like even when we first got this warehouse, I'm telling you, I would tell the staff.
And like think about that. We would do that just Snapchats to each
I swear
other.
to God.
Snapchat just to each other. Like it was our own little thing. And that's now just us creating the same kind of like wave. It's not about necessarily, I think, in this sense, creating for the validation of others. Of course, that's gonna.
We're creating for the future.
Exactly.
Creating for the future of.
Breadcrumbs for future self, dude.
That's what it is.
Breadcrumbs for future self.
When we first made that video moving into this warehouse,
there's no way in hell, I promise you, when I made that video, I think it would have had any fucking substance. It was you with the fucking camera, not knowing what the fuck to do with it, me having a passion for tech, being a fucking nerd, and I'm just like, yo, like.
No, but yo, you didn't have a single video on the internet back then.
I didn't have a single video on the internet.
But you were still trying to drill it in my head that you need to fucking document.
Think about
We're
that.
driving to the fucking warehouse and you're like, bro, you gotta document all of this. I'm like, say a word. Okay, maybe I should, right?
Yeah.
I ended up buying that crazy camera because you told me to get it. Like, I'm pretty sure you told me to get that camera.
Yeah, I did.
I got the camera. I had not a clue what the to do with it. You're like, yo, let me figure it out. I gave you the camera. I'm like, bro, please don't break it. You're like, bro, man, I got this shit.
Giving a fucking 17-year-old a fucking
$5,000
camera,
R5, bro.
Like, bro, dude.
What camera was it?
I had an R5.
R5.
Yeah. It was the first camera like I ever bought outside of an iPhone. I'm like, yo, let me just go fucking big here.
Bro, imagine that. Like, I ain't know cameras like that, really. Like, of course, I knew about the tech because I'm just like, you know, a little bit tech nerdy, but it's just like, dude, you just get, I'm just like,
but like, fam, he didn't have any videos on the internet.
None,
Like,
bro.
he didn't even have a TikTok profile. And he was like, I swear to God, I'm not even capping. He's like, fam, you have to document religiously. So since I came into this warehouse, I'm telling you, I have archival footage of us doing, fam, the most random shit. Like tripod set up in different corners. I have videos for days. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Both in this format with the YouTube format. What format is that again? I don't know.
Like 16 by 9?
Yeah, 16 by 9 and like 9 by
Vertical,
16
9
as
by
well.
16, yeah.
Yeah. But had I not documented all that, it probably wouldn't have grown our TikTok page. And obviously our TikTok and our Instagram now is our biggest propeller for fucking traffic.
I realize both those are byproducts of our internal success, of our internal confidence. So it's just like, yo, what gave you, like, think about it. Okay, you know, like, there might be people at home that are watching that are like, yo, fuck, like, of course, now you're sitting your multi-7-figure pushing 8.
Damn close, yeah.
Pushing 8, right?
Pushing,
like,
yeah.
pushing 8 figures.
Yeah.
Bro, there's kids just like us who are fucking barely just trying to make 10 bands.
Yeah.
Right? And the nature of businesses, I definitely agree with the fact, the amount of accessibility that we have nowadays, bro, it's never been easier to kill it, bro.
Yeah.
Never been easier. The amount of access that we have.
I'm telling you, bro. When I first moved in this warehouse, we didn't have AI.
Yeah.
Any of these tools available,
bro,
right?
Bro, half GPT, bro.
Yeah.
Half man, half GPT.
Half my life's GPT right now.
But like, we think about it, right? There's kids at home that are probably sitting there like, oh, I'm just trying to make my first 10,000 or whatever the it is. But then you get into the nature of business and you realize it's gonna take longer than you expect and it's gonna be fucking harder than you expect.
Yeah.
Once you convince yourself, once you understand, like, yo, you know, you got that little psychopathic edge that hyper manic edge, you could say. You know what I'm saying?
Bro.
You could have that edge and you just convince yourself, like, you accept the fact that it's gonna be
Yeah.
You accept you're cooked. What is the thing that gave you stability? If you really, really just think about it, what gave you stability through all this, like, rocky times, regardless of, like, even right now?
Yeah.
Now, like, you know, eventually you're gonna be transitioning to, like, North America wide or whatever, but I'm sure the things that you probably thought were difficult 3 years ago, you fucking laugh at now, to the stresses that you have ahead of you.
Yeah.
Right? Think about fucking immigrations and this and all that, fucking all these kind of things.
Yeah.
Your problems are obviously scaling as well as with your success, but you look back in this time, I think that startup phase, why even right now, what's so important for us, even genuinely documenting this, even though we've been on this for like 5 years.
Yeah.
Dead ass. Like, I'll put up Snapchat. Like, Manik and I have had these conversations at like 12 a.m. multiple occasions. No cameras, no nothing.
Yeah.
But bro, all the fucking time, bro. All the time. So we started inertia, baby.
Yo, the podcast is called Inertia.
Just know that. But we understand that this is just, once again, breadcrumbs for future self when we are actually, worth the fucking billions.
100%.
And we're sitting here fucking in our empty warehouse just chatting shit, you know?
Yeah.
We recognize right now that, that start, bro, that liftoff phase
Yeah.
is by far the fucking most difficult time. Fighting that adversity, fighting that like rockiness. What do you think gave you that stability?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the stability really just comes
in a very like unstable market, in a just unstable way of living life. What gave you that kind of like anchor?
Yeah. Yo, it was like when you have a warehouse, basically like, I didn't need this warehouse, right? So the stability, like when I first moved from the basement to this warehouse, I didn't need a warehouse of this size right away. So if I was in 2,500, I maybe needed 3,500, maybe 4,000, but I purposely got a space bigger than I actually needed at that time. If you remember, there's videos of us moving in this warehouse, and for the first year, I had, easily 1,500 square feet that wasn't being used. But I purposely got a space that big so that I could kind of fire it up my backside and just have a propeller for trying to like make it. I'm telling you, man, I put myself in these situations. I forced myself in very, I'd say, what other people would say stressful situations to try to see if I could make it out on the other side. Like if I get a warehouse at 22, am I gonna be able to sustain it for 3 years? There came a point, I'd say in the 1.5 year mark, 2022, beginning of 2022, right? Literally like 6 months into us getting this warehouse, I tried to exit the lease. Cause I'm like, yo, I'm not making money. I've never told anybody that. I literally told one other person that ever, which is my mom, that I tried to exit that lease. 2021 November, I got this warehouse. Literally June of 2022, I tried to exit the lease. I was in a 3-year lease. My landlord told me to kick rocks. He was like, you can't exit the lease, otherwise you're gonna pay a hefty fine. Thank God I was in a lease for 3 years because I had no choice but to figure a way out. I couldn't exit the lease. The only way he'd let me exit the lease is if I paid a 6-month fine. 6 months fine, that's tens of thousands of dollars. So would you rather pay a fine or would you rather just figure this shit out? Right? So, when it comes right now to like even our move to like the US and some of the bigger plans I have of opening a factory next year, I'm telling you, I do it on purpose because I know my potential lies in creating something larger than what is currently here, but I have to force it upon myself.
So would you say pressure is your constant?
I say pressure gives me the stability. Like what I find comfort in the pressure. Like when I don't have pressure, it kind of makes me nervous as to like, yo, why is there not pressure here? Right?
Stagnance.
Yeah, like I weirdly don't like to just like sit. And that's a problem I really do have. Like I'm trying to get to the root of it as to like why I can't just sit still. Like at home, bro, like I come home sometimes with my like mom, I'm with my family, and I should want to spend time with my family. I should want to spend time with my girlfriend, but I'm still at this weird age right now, like this 20 to 25 year age. And I think as I get older, it'll go away. That like, I just want to keep like kind of itching forward. I just want to keep like pushing it.
For sure. But where do you actually think that comes from? That like you really talk about that drive, like that level of consistently being in motion per se.
Yeah.
It's like, of course, it sounds great, but it is a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's really talked about. It has a lot of benefits too.
Yeah.
But there's a price to pay. There's a price to pay for everything.
Yeah.
But where do you actually think that comes from? That's some real life hustle shit, bro.
It is, yeah. It is.
Like, think about what we do right now, man.
I just think people shouldn't look for stability. Like I know people tend to want to find a balance, right? Like work-life balance, or they want to have like a balance of like seeing their friends and family on a more often basis. But I mean, for certain periods of your life, you have to just, I don't know, man. I think you should just X that out. You know, if you actually want to build something and you want that to be something that is sustainable for a long period of time, if you want to build something that you could give to your children, if you don't want your kids to worry about, you know, like, I don't know, maybe some things that you, like, you know, we might have seen when we were like young immigrants. You know, our parents were immigrants that coming to Canada. So like maybe you've seen certain things when you were like young that may push you to get to the next level. You know, certain topics and like certain things come to your mind sometimes and you like start stumbling on your words because you know exactly where like the drive comes from sometimes, which is you just being young in a household with immigrant parents trying to figure out how to sustain a living. And you see an economic condition in your fucking household that you just don't want your future self to see. You don't want your kids to see. That feeling, bro, is usually what would drive most people to build a business.
Would you say it drove you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if I go to the deep roots of why, maybe, and I don't really spend too much time, I'd say, thinking about like why I'm this way, but maybe it is because of that, you know? Like my mom someday, like my mom's not comfortable being on camera, but she always reminds me of this one story where like, bro, we were at Costco, my dad was at work, and we're literally fucking buying groceries, and my mom's card declines. Tries another credit card, declines. She literally had to like leave the cart there and like, bro, you know, had to go to the bank the next day and like get a line of credit. Crazy. I mean, yo, someday my mom will like be down to come on camera and talk about like early childhood stories, but like she's not there yet.
Yeah.
I have a video on my phone. I'll show you after. Like she's trying to, but nah, not yet. I don't know. I'm also like weird about like showing my mom and sister on camera. I don't know what it is. Like I'll put my dad on my social media all the time, but like, yo, my girl, my dad, my mom, my sister, the ladies in my life, I'm a little bit sensitive about because I just know men are weird.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I could be overthinking it though.
But what do you think about public relationships, yo?
Public relationships?
In the sense of like
posting your significant other?
posting your significant other.
Yeah.
Maybe even dating someone that is, let's say, like a out here content creator. I'm sure everyone is a fucking micro content creator in their sense. Everyone's fucking out. Everyone's out here fucking posting on their phones, you know, for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like someone with a substantial following that has kind of a career. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Yo, honest opinion?
Yeah.
Bro, honest opinion, like, I don't know. I feel like, yo, my social media profile, I use social media as like a business tool, right? So like, I'm not really trying to mix my personal life or too much of it while I'm using my social media presence for like brand building. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to more so document my journey as a fucking founder.
Yeah.
So like, am I really trying to go down the rabbit hole of like now posting like videos with my girl and photos with my girl when these things should be just kind of kept in my camera? My honest opinion is like, that's going down with like my significant other, like my girl, should be kept between me and that person. I don't really want random people on the internet to see like what's going on behind closed doors with like, you know, my girl, my family. You know, I post obviously videos of like my dad because like he's with me at work, like we're jamming, we're listening to music.
Yeah.
That's like shit that like I would want people to like
Bro,
see.
if someone walks into Icy, they're
see that regardless.
gonna see Mike anyways, you know?
They're
It's
gonna
just an
see him.
extension of that.
They're gonna see him, right? But like, I mean, things that are happening like at the crib, I'm not there yet. I don't think so. Maybe if I have a wife someday, like I'll post like my wife. But like, I mean, people that I'm meeting right now, like in the journey, I mean, like, my girl right now could be my future wife. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
I do know stuff.
God bless.
God bless, right?
God
But
bless, God bless.
I mean, I think things should be kept private.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I strongly agree with that, dude. I think especially the nature of the internet, dude.
Yeah.
There becomes a line where I think people don't know what to separate between what's private and what's public.
For sure.
Like, just because being in the public realm doesn't mean that you're not a fucking person with human connections. And I don't know, I never really kind of understood that.
Yeah.
Of like, why do you necessarily want everyone to know about what the fuck is going on in your shit? Like, are you doing it? Is this relationship for you or is this for the fucking internet?
100%.
You know?
100%. Like, I'd rather just be honest about what my intentions with social media are.
Yeah.
Which is like, I'm trying to build a brand and I am an extension of my brand and I'm sharing my journey. Breadcrumbs for future self, but also like I'm building for the present day too.
Yeah.
You know?
Circling back though,
Yeah.
like to now vintage.
Yeah.
So now we're like you're trying to exit your lease.
Yeah.
So what then? Like what's that change from there? When do you get that? When do you get a big deal? When do you get a big break?
Yeah.
From going to a super excited fucking young fucking Manik, ready to fucking go, ready to kill it, to fucking damn near 6, 7, 8 months later, this bail hit the fucking eject button, but the eject button is declining.
Declining, yeah.
It's declining.
Eject button declined, bro. You know, yeah. Eject button definitely declined.
So after that decline, what the like, what's that until the next big break?
Yo, and when I tried to exit the lease, it wasn't like an aggressive, like I have to exit the lease. It was more so like, let me have a conversation with my landlord and see where their head's at if I wanted to leave. And that conversation just didn't go the way it needed to go.
I'm sure, bro.
It wasn't like, yo, I need to leave this lease today and like, you know, burn everything in the warehouse and let's move to fucking Africa. It wasn't like that.
Just
Yeah. It wasn't like
this
that.
guy said move to Africa.
It wasn't like that, yeah.
But I'm sure, bro, it's just natural young entrepreneur being a little bit overwhelmed with the pressure because you did double your
I was
warehouse.
definitely overwhelmed. I was slightly overwhelmed, I'll be honest.
Bro.
But I kept that so quiet, bro. Like the only people that even know that happened was me and my landlord.
Yeah.
And my mom.
I didn't know that
Nobody
either,
else
bro.
knew that.
I had no idea, bro.
Yeah.
And I'd say I'm one of your closest friends. I had no clue, bro. I thought you just thugging it.
Yeah.
You know? But that you do carry yourself extremely well.
Yeah.
But internally, bro, this fucking all hell is breaking loose.
Yeah.
What's your next steps?
Yeah. I mean, yo, like right when we figured out that like we can't leave the warehouse, I knew a pivot had to come because like, yo, vintage at that time just no longer profitable. We opened up a vintage store in the middle of Scarborough, which was supposed to be our e-com warehouse, but we turned our showroom in the front into our quote unquote store. Things were not working out in the front. We'd probably get a few people coming in every single day. Our e-com store was on a decline. Ads were just not hitting. I was still figuring out how to run Google ads. Shout out Simran. Obviously, like me and him locked the fuck in on Google ads and we figured it out. Facebook ads, we figured out Instagram ads, like, you know, layer by layer. But obviously, like anybody that understands Google ads knows that you don't make money in the first 6 months, right? Google has the longest learning phase. So if you're trying to be profitable on ads, you have to be willing to bleed in the short term. So I'm bleeding right now on the ad side. I have to figure this shit out, right? Bro, what ended up happening around that time was I hired a few good people. I'd say in the middle of 2022, 6 months into my lease, right after eject button didn't work. And those people really helped to like change the landscape, I'd say, of like how I approach vintage too. So we improved the efficiency of the warehouse. We ended up like, you know, installing new racking. We built a new software code. Obviously, we hired better photographers. We created a social media strategy. Obviously, around that time, we started to lock in on like creating viral like short form videos.
Because like once I told you like once we had the social proof that holy fuck we can get involved in the social media game.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. So I mean like day one though. I mean like I got the warehouse lease in November, but in December I started posting like literally right after I'd say I got off the crutches and like I could walk on like 2 feet. I started making TikTok videos.
But not serious.
Not serious, not consistent, but I was posting. I got my face out there.
Bro, we always knew that there was some power in content, bro.
Yeah.
We always knew, bro. When we look at the leverage pyramid, we've been known this, bro. It's labor, capital, then code and media at the top. That's something that we've always understood, and it's something that we've always just tried our best to implement. Code and media,
100%.
systems, code, media, all these kind of things.
For sure.
I think about how we systemize, like trying to find any sort of way to bring those two together, and it is the highest leverage pyramid. We've always had that at the forefront for sure. But like new hires, better content creation, like having that genuine proof of concept that holy fuck, like we can fucking like
we can do
really take advantage of it, you know?
So we brought on a few new people, and then I'd say for like 2 or 3 months I just kept kind of bleeding, I'd say, like day by day. Like I'm 6 months in, and after I had that hard conversation of potentially trying to exit the lease, I had another, I'd say 3 to 4 month period until we bought that first printer. And this is when things obviously started to really change, right? Because now this is 2022, end of the year. We now start diving deep into like trying to make clothes. So like we go back onto the drawing board and we had a few different options, right? It was like, do we buy a DTG printer? Do we continue selling vintage? Or do we just create a brand new, I don't know, media business, content business? That was actually a part of the plan. We're like, okay, we have the warehouse space. We can either like decorate this whole place, turn this into some like rent this by an hour media space, or we just kind of go down the lane of what we've already been building, which is e-commerce. So do you go and you just apply more inertia on what you've already been building, or do you try to just build from scratch, try to develop a brand new network in a completely different business?
What helped make the decision?
Time. Literally just sitting enough time in front of the drawing board and just realizing that you're better off pivoting in a very similar industry because you already have a network, right? Pivoting from a vintage clothing business to a clothing brand is significantly easier, but it also has the highest yield because your customer base is already shopping with you for clothing. Now, if you offer a different product, they're probably going to relate to it, right? Which they did. Some. We lost a lot of customers in the way after we ended up, buying a DTG printer. But end of 2022, we ended up buying our first direct-to-garment clothing apparel printer.
So what was that transitioning from okay, so now you're building on, so you got such great foundational building block. You said it before about how you felt like, yo, your time and energy, you're putting into one piece.
Yeah.
You cannot create as much lifetime value in a customer with a single unique piece. Like, sure, they might be interested in some sort of vintage, for sure.
100%.
But
there's no unique long-term value. No,
there isn't. Like, how do you know? Someone might like one vintage shirt, but are they gonna like this? Are they gonna like that? Are they gonna like all these kind of things?
Yeah.
So you clearly had that. You knew that your time wasn't being used at its fullest potential.
Yeah, but the thing is, I knew it was gonna be a clothing brand though. Back in 2018, even when we launched the brand, I wanted to name it something that could be pivoted. Vintage was the closest item I could sell. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, vintage was the closest item I could sell at that time. I was working at a thrift store. You're working at a thrift store. What's the closest product to you 24/7? It's the products in that shop, which is vintage. So I'm selling whatever I could get my hands on, but at that time I couldn't afford to start a clothing brand, right? But I knew I wanted to make clothes. I was already on Photoshop. I was already on Illustrator. I literally had Procreate on an iPad, but I was never using it. But I knew I wanted to make clothes. I was studying clothing brands. A lot of the content I was consuming was clothing brand content. So when it came to making the decision between do we become a clothing brand or do we just start a brand new business with the same warehouse space, it was a very obvious decision. It made sense to start a brand. Now, I'll be very honest with you. I feel like every vintage clothing store in the next 5 to 10 years, once they realize this industry isn't really that profitable, they're gonna become clothing brands. Because they'll realize that they've touched and felt more garments than any real clothing brand ever. Name me, bro, you couldn't name me or bring a single clothing brand owner right now. You could be Tommy Hilfiger. And I promise you, I've probably touched and felt more garments at 25 years of life than Tommy Hilfiger. I'm telling you, I would, bro, from 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., literally an 8-hour shift, 5 days a week, I would stand in front of a conveyor belt, sifting through used clothes. Literally, bro, underwears, what are those? What's a banana in English?
Beater?
Wife beater, wife beaters, bro, ripped up clothing, bro, number 2 stains on clothes and shit, bro, literally, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how to say that in a cordial manner, but bro, I just mean I was going with, my dad obviously at that time, I kind of just this is a side topic, but my dad, back in 2019, when I started my business and dropped out of school, he was delivering pizzas. So when it came to working with me, it was a no-brainer. He immediately stopped delivering pizza and kind of working random odd jobs, and he just joined me. So me and him would go to rag houses to find used clothes, and we'd be sifting through dirt and shit to find the garments that we were selling. So you get to a certain point where bro, there's photos of me from 2020 where I have eye bags super deep. I don't really look how I look right now, even though I was younger back then, because when you're in an environment where there's so much dust and used clothes, you just look like
you've been in that environment,
you
bro.
look like you've been in that environment. Yeah, you
Yeah.
look like you've been there. You know what I'm saying? So me and him would pull up every day, 8 hours a day, sift through clothes and bring home whatever we had, wash it, fold it, steam it, photograph it, take it through the whole process. Yeah, so we ended up getting a call from Simons 1 month after that whole lease situation happened. And they hit us up. They were talking about maybe us retailing in their shop. We ended up meeting with a few of the buyers at Simons, this department store. They got 16 stores across the country. And,
Our company is based out of Quebec?
They're based out of Quebec, yeah. Majority of their stores are in Quebec. but they have a couple in Ontario too. And buyers came, they saw our vintage product, loved what they saw, and they ended up cutting a pretty big purchase order for us to sell a good chunk of our inventory to them. So like at that time, like I probably wiped out 30% of my inventory just selling to Simons. They had so many stores. It's not like I had crazy inventory, you know, in the grand scheme. So they flushed out a good chunk of my inventory and that kept me afloat. All of 2022, I'd say like raw now, they kept me afloat. That was really the only profitable venture I had that entire year. If it wasn't for Simons, if it wasn't for them coming in here and maybe saving me during a very rocky time, I don't even think we would have gotten to the part where we bought apparel printing machines. Financially speaking, yeah, like really.
In that exact time, yeah. No,
they helped us achieve volume.
Most definitely, but only reason it was a successful partnership is because you were also providing that value, right? It was.
Yeah. We'd act like stylists, bro. Huh? We would literally act like stylists. Yeah. I gave them the full playbook. But you were though,
right? Like you had a skill, and now you're just playing a different role. It's that like versatility of just being like, okay, cool. Like here's an opportunity. Like here's me stepping up to the plate. Yeah. That's all you did, and you fucking knocked it out of the fucking park, dude.
100%. So yo, they ended up buying a whole bunch of vintage off us, and what ended up happening was like things were going well. Like they were buying POs, vintage was selling, but like I said, dying market, right? Like people.
After you hit that decline button, did you know mentally like, okay, yo, I need to pivot?
Yeah, like right when I hit the what?
Because mind you, when you're hitting the eject button.
Yeah.
How long have you been selling vintage at this point? Like, yo, this is mid 2022.
Yeah, I'm 4 years deep at that point.
4 years. This is all you did, all day, all night, bro. How did that, like, deeper than just a fucking, of course, that natural overwhelmingness. But yo, how did that feel from an identity point? Your identity was, yo, Manik sells vintage. This is the vintage guy.
Yeah.
Now, behind closed doors, you're fucking slamming that eject button.
Yeah.
What does that do to your identity, though?
Yeah. Yo, like, lucky enough, bro, like I consumed the right piece of content around that time. I seen this video of like Kanye talking about how he went from like producer to artist. And like a lot of the time where he was like an artist, he would always think back on times where maybe he could just sell beats and that would be the easier avenue. But he was still willing to obviously like change up persona completely. Like if I'm this person today, but if I see a better version of myself on the other side, I'm gonna go down that rabbit hole because I see what the outcome could be, right? So if I'm selling vintage, I'm already basically on the trajectory of becoming a clothing brand. I'm telling you, bro, every vintage clothing store is a clothing brand in disguise. They just don't know it yet. Every single one. These guys have the audience of people that want to buy clothes. Why would you not make clothes? Why would you not want to be an artist, right? Why would you want to be a reseller of other brands? How could you really have any identity selling other people's brands that don't even know you?
Exactly, bro.
Bro, it's not like the founder of Carhartt and you are buddies. You guys go play golf. He doesn't know you, bro. You know what? If he saw you, he'd actually probably shit on you. He'd probably be like, bro, you sell my clothes. Give me a check. I'm gonna like. He'd probably talk about suing you. He'd disrespect you probably.
Facts.
So you realize that, yo, as you edge closer, as you get closer. God damn, bro.
But yeah.
Yo.
No, but I agree with that completely.
Yo,
that's a 5 a.m. caffeine kicking in right now, bro.
Chill.
Edge
it, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, as you get... Yo, that's fucked. You heard that one? Freaky boy.
Yo, I'm about to have to put the rest of this podcast up on a different website now.
Okay. Yo.
But yeah, as you edge closer.
No, hold up. Before that, what was I saying?
You were saying like, like Carhartt, like if you're making clothes, no,
They don't know you, bro.
Yeah.
They don't know you.
No, I strongly agree with that. Think about what really propelled Stay Dripped. As I'm getting by markets that I cannot control. Like I'm selling someone else's clothes, selling someone else's garments, selling someone else's products.
Someone else's creation.
Someone else's creation, which, okay, yo, it's a good proxy for you to get into the space. But bro, it reaches a point where, yo, you do it for so fucking long. They're like, yo.
You're a cog in a wheel. You basically have a job, bro.
Yeah.
Other people are selling the exact same products that you're selling. You were selling Mocos at that time. There's 100,000 other resellers trying to sell the exact same goods at the same prices. What are you doing unique, bro?
Facts.
What's your USP? What's your unique selling point?
Exactly. None. And on top of that fact, once you just take L's when they aren't on your own account and you're a pretty self-accountable person, and that's something that you can't control. Like, of course, yo, there's so many things in life that you literally can't control for sure.
Yeah.
Bro, imagine getting, like, I'm speaking from personal experience, bro. Like, you're telling me I have said information about, okay, yo, X shoe is coming out, 50,000 units.
Yeah.
I paid fucking thousands of dollars for this information to be part of this.
Actually, yeah.
Huh?
$1,000.
Like, not specifically for this shoe, but I'm saying
Yeah.
in general, right? Like, I'm paying thousands of dollars to be in certain fucking cook groups.
Yeah.
Very exclusive cook groups that have drops themselves.
You'd like give them your credit card and they'd bill your card and stuff,
yeah,
right?
yeah, bro. Yeah, deadass. Like, yo, I would do a lot, bro. Like,
You ever get scammed? Anyone ever take your credit card and like fucking...
No, it was all like secure checkouts, like Stripe and shit.
Oh, fire.
Yeah, PayPal protection. But yo, who, like, to be honest, if someone like scamming, like, like, there's like a good amount of community, you know, like, why would you get into a cook group that has no like reputation?
Fair enough.
You know, like, there's like certain very popping cook groups in the community that, yo, people are reselling their memberships for.
Wow.
Dead ass, bro. Like, let's say a monthly membership was like fucking $100, bro. There's people selling it for $300.
What the bro?
Because think about it though, like, now you have access to the information, you know?
For sure.
But now think about this though. Let's say, yo, there's this set information that X shoe is coming out, 50,000 stock.
Yeah.
Based off this information is how you're gonna make a decision of how you allocate your resources. Like, if I have $20,000, like, how much of that capital am I gonna invest into this shoe? Because based off this, it's supply and demand.
Yeah.
But now, how about this? Mind you, now it's not a $50,000 shoe. 50,000. There's actually 100,000 shoes coming out. So now it's double the fucking stock.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you've already committed to that previous
now
price.
Now I've committed to this, right? Okay, cool. Now, therefore, because there's more supply, the price is gonna decrease. As the price decreases, how about this? StockX puts 15% off seller fees, 15% off buyer fees. Now what? Now this fucking shoe just tanked to the fucking floor.
Goddamn.
Because everyone's selling and everyone's buying.
Oh my God.
Who is controlling the market, bro? Who's really playing the game? It's not until you really get punched in the fucking face of realizing, yo, holy shit. Where you're like, yo, man, the fuck am I really doing?
Yeah.
And then you kind of get that more sense of just artistic pride, you could say, of being like, bro, I'm good enough to fucking make my own shit and really make it pop.
Yeah. Bro, the thing is, like, as a sneaker reseller, right? And correct me if I'm wrong. If you have the ability to cultivate an audience, get them onto your website, buy your sneakers, if you're able to do all of that, why wouldn't you also be able to get them to buy into your creation? Wouldn't that same person that has the talent of doing everything on this side also have the talent of creating?
Yeah.
They probably just haven't tried it
Being
out.
able to exercise that.
Now, bro, all the time I was like selling vintage, it's not like I ever got in front of Photoshop and I tried to illustrate a whole bunch of designs until I decided to burn the boats. Until I decided to get to a point where I was like, yo, I really can't be selling vintage anymore. It took me like a 6-month process of like designing and getting into the lab and showing friends and family pieces that I had and get their approval on it. But I mean, you can't really become a creator if you're a reseller. A reseller is a reseller. A creator is a creator. Every vintage clothing store is a reseller. Every sneaker store is a reseller. Where does a reseller stand in the community of business? You're bottom. Bro.
It's just arbitrage, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it's just an opportunity, for example, where you see, it's not, I don't think it's a real business, bro. I really don't think reselling per se is a business. It's an arbitrage opportunity.
It's a hustle.
Yeah, it's a hustle,
It's
bro.
a young hustle.
That's
it's a
it.
respectable hustle for somebody
For
that's
sure,
trying to make
bro.
something out of nothing. But over time, it's not really something you could sustain a living on.
Yeah, what's the percentage of resellers that are really out here fucking being able to make a living on? Like, bro, like, what fucking
Outside of living though, bro,
Like, no, like,
value.
even- no.
Value to society.
even, like, bro,
What are you doing for people?
even, no, fuck,
Yeah.
even at, like, yo, that is, like, debatable, subjective. I'm talking
Yeah.
about, like, in, like, generally, even if we look at it from a financial perspective, dude.
Yeah.
Bro, how many fucking, like, what are those stores that, like, basically sell, like, out of this world? What do you call those stores?
Sneaker resale shops.
Nah, man, there's a word for them.
Consignment stores.
Consignment
Yeah,
stores.
yeah.
How many consignment stores can you name off the top of your fucking head? Mind you, deeper than that, how many of these consignment stores do you think are actually making real life fucking money, bro?
Not very many. Not very many.
Very few, bro. It's so fucking difficult. It's extremely fucking difficult, bro. It's just, bro, the leverage that you have is way less. And deeper than that, bro, if you are gonna, I think, I don't know, man, unpopular opinion, bro, but if you're gonna fucking fail,
Yeah.
why not at least fail that, like, yo, holy, like, yo, I failed trying to sell my own versus how the fuck do you fail
Selling other people's
Yo, how the do you fail selling Jordans that have been fucking bumping since 1985?
Yeah.
Jordan,
1985.
this is
yeah.
Jordan. This is a man worth $3 billion. How the did you not make money off his shoes?
100%. Bro, they've
That-
been
I don't know,
running
that-
ads. They've been running ads. They've been running promo. He's been the face
Bro,
of the
he's
NBA
Jordan.
for 30 fucking years, and you didn't figure out how to make money.
Bro, he's Jordan. 40 years, dude.
40 years, yeah.
40 years.
That's where we're at, right?
Yeah. 40 fucking years and you couldn't make a dime off that? Yo, man, that's fucking tough.
Yeah. That's,
You feel me?
yeah.
2022,
Yeah.
you have Simons keeping you afloat, you know?
Yeah.
You're running it down. But this is giving you now you've understood that, okay, cool. Now eject. This way didn't work. It's time to make a pivot, but you just don't exactly know what it is.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, while this is keeping you steady and able to sustain, let's say, the business side of things, and now you need to now make a play. This is a plateau, right? Now you understand that, yo, there's no more linear growth. You've kind of maxed out your potential here.
Yeah.
Now you're looking to make that exponential gain. Now we're at the DTG printers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about that part of it.
Yeah. So yeah, end of 2022, we decided to make the jump into buying apparel printing machines. Not machines, but a machine. So we ended up buying our first Brother DTG printer, okay? Whole setup at that time cost me about 45 to 50 racks. It's basically all the savings I had at that time, whatever was left after burning all this money into like salary and expenses and trying to make a vintage business work, okay?
Yeah.
So we get this printer, warehouse, where it comes into our warehouse. It was literally sitting in the back in that corner right there, if you remember.
Yeah.
But we had to figure out and teach ourselves how to use this machine. I'd say the first month was just learning how to operate the machine. Second machine was, or let me just use the washroom real quick, yo.
Yeah, rip it. Same way, like I look at my success group, always friends and family, because the people you surround yourself with is the people that are basically a reflection of you.
100%.
So therefore, it's like, yo, when I don't care about, like, yo, obviously I respect and I'm humbled by the fact that, yo, there's people out there that are like, yo, holy fuck, like, yo, you're fucking out here, or like let's say if I'm on the street and someone's like, yo, JV, da 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 da, like,
Yeah.
sure, like I'm humbled by it, but bro, that is a stranger at the end of the day, you know, like it's not gonna fulfill me as like you being like, yo, holy I watched this video 20 times.
Yeah.
Because you are an extension of me, in a sense. So it's like, okay, cool, like I was able to challenge someone's mind, like I'm not, and like really just, you know, if it's like, yo, that just is a different story.
Different story.
I can't even say it's like same. It's just different.
Different story.
It's a different story, man.
Completely.
It's just a completely different story.
Stuff.
Like genuinely, when like the friends and family, because our time and energy is so, we guard it like with a lot, man.
Yeah.
You know, we're not just out here doing fudu shit. You know, we are actively making decisions to have people in our lives or not. You know. So saying no, that means your yes needs to be worth more.
100%.
So when your yes is worth more, and now you're telling me like these people you're able to, because we understand our capabilities to an extent, right? Like I'll tell you, yo, Manik, I'm gonna do this, that. Like you're like, yo, I know you're pissed. Like I know you got this, but I'm still able to be like, yo, holy yo, you did that? That's hard. Same thing with me, where I was like, yo, like I know you can do certain things, you create certain things, but I can see that collection. So I'm like, yo, holy you really did that?
Sure.
Like, bro, like it's not that I don't believe in you, but I'm like, yo, I'm still fucking impressed. But yo, when you can impress the people that know what your capabilities are, dude, strangers at the end of the day, they don't know you, bro.
They're more easily impressed,
because
right?
they don't know you.
Yeah.
They don't know your capabilities, and rightly so. So they have their own
They don't even know where to set a bar for you.
Exactly. They don't know what the fuck you, like who you are, how much you've grown, or where you've went. Like they don't understand the whole. They don't know the real spill.
Not one
But
bit.
how should they, right? They're just random people. They're just regular humans.
Yeah, they're just supporters of the craft. That's
Exactly.
all they are.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They just appreciate it.
100%.
But like, yo, when you're really able to impress someone that really kind of knows you, it's a different story.
You're pushing towards a different
Story.
section now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, what were we talking about right before the piss break?
We're talking about getting the first printer.
First
Yeah.
printer. Okay, so take us back. Yeah, first printer.
Yeah, so yo, end of 2022, we get our first printer. And bro, like when you get a DTG printer for the first time, you've never printed a t-shirt in your entire life, you gotta figure this out, right? So like we got the manual going, and bro, like when I tell you we burnt hundreds of tees. Like we would load up t-shirts, we'd have pre-treat issues. Pre-treat is when you like the base coating solution of the ink, you don't have enough like base coat, so like your ink doesn't show, right? It's like you're painting a wall. If you're painting a white wall, instead of you putting
It's a primer?
yeah, like it's the primer, right? Exactly. Keep it simple. There was no primer, and we would just have a whole bunch of t-shirts that would just end up in the trash because we just couldn't figure out how to use the printer in the most effective way possible. I'd say write the first 3 months off if you're getting this printer to just like learning how to operate it, how to use it. You don't want to send a product to a customer. You don't want to send an inferior product to a customer if you're not entirely sure if it's even going to be good after a couple washes. So like we would take dozens of t-shirts, I'd take them home, I'd wash them in the laundry machine, wash them again and again, and see if they actually would be able to stay past like 5 or 6 cycles, right? Once I was able to prove that, yo, okay, these t-shirts are working, the pre-treat, the primer, everything's looking solid, well and good, we started to put it on the website. Bro, we started putting random prints up on the website. I'd say like the first print I ever put up was like an Undertaker tee, Nelson Mandela shirt. You know, we were just referencing like different pop culture like items, but it didn't really relate to us. And then I kind of got to a point where I was like, yo, instead of us trying to reference vintage clothing things, right? Like you buy an apparel printing machine as a vintage clothing store, what are you gonna print? You're gonna print things relating to the 80s and 90s, right? I started printing stuff related to the 80s and 90s and no one really was rocking with what we were selling. So I'm like, okay, man, this is not working out. The vintage clothing's here. My 80s and 90s inspired tees are here, but no one really seems to really care. We end up now starting to drop what I was passionate about. Like, I'm really passionate about hip hop. Like, if I was to say like my number one passion outside of clothes, it would be music. I'm very passionate about like just like the art of like hip hop, like R&B. Like I even like rock and roll and jazz too. Like, you know, as a young kid, I would listen to artists even outside of rap too. But like when I study that art, I listen and absorb a lot of like lyrics. I like watch a lot of these artists like come up. Like I've predicted a lot of the success of like people, like artists when they were like nobodies. You know what I'm saying? So we started taking like current artists right now. We started like referencing them on t-shirts. So we dropped like, you know, a few different like rappers. We made rap tees of current artists. Instead of trying to make 80s and 90s inspired tees, we started making tees of people today. I'm like, instead of me trying to make t-shirts for the last decade, let me make the vintage potentially of the future, maybe, right?
Facts.
Right? Like if I keep trying to like stick in the past of like what I was doing before, even with me trying to start up a new chapter, am I really gonna get to the next level? So we started dropping new tees referencing today. So we dropped like first couple tees, and then we had one hitter. Across all the misses we had one hitter tee, which was like that Young Thug t-shirt that blew the brand up. Literally, like, it was a t-shirt we couldn't make enough of. At that time, bro, you just got an apparel printing machine. For the last, like, I'd say first 5 months of us getting that printer, you're not making any sales. You're still figuring out how to use it. You're burning cost of ink, cost of pre-treat, cost of labor.
I remember vividly.
Remember that convo?
I vividly remember that conversation.
Let me tell you that convo.
Vividly. Tell them about the conversation.
I'll tell you that convo. So basically, before we bought the apparel printing machine, somebody on my team at that time was like, yo, we need all the designs first. He was like, let's hesitate to get the printer. Let's create a log of every single design we're going to drop for 2023 before we buy the printer. I was like, yo, scratch that. Let's buy the printer and force ourselves to create designs. So we ended up doing that, obviously.
And yo, for some context, guys, like this is a pretty well-educated, like sophisticated, like he's a smart individual, and like
He's an engineer by trade.
He's engineer by
very
trade.
educated guy. I'm actually not even gonna say like he was coming from a bad place. He actually came from a very good place when he made that suggestion.
And a very pragmatic approach.
Yeah.
And bro, Manik's crazy ass is like 50 bands. Just go right here, right now.
50 bands, not just like, not only 50 bands, but 50 bands of my last bread.
Yeah.
Of basically like some of the last money
like
I had in the savings
last
account.
$50,000?
Yeah, in our checking account, in our business checking account, that must have been the last money we had. For the record, you might know this, you might not know this. I had 35,000. My mom lent me the remaining 10.
Damn.
Okay.
Damn.
My mom lent me the remaining 10, and I had to pay her back like late 2023. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't even have enough to like even pay for the entire printer setup. The pre-treat machine, the heat press, and the printer. No, we had 35. She gave us the remaining 10. So that person, when they made that suggestion, they came from a place of fear. Like, if we spend the money on this apparel printing machine, are we gonna have enough to cover my salary, the cost of other people's salary, the warehouse rent? Are we gonna crash and burn? So the suggestion came from a good place, but my strategy has always been, I'm telling you, man, put yourself in unique situations where you have to thrive out of pressure. Can you put yourself in a situation?
Not just survive.
Not just survive. Can you put yourself in a unique situation where, like, if I don't make it past this, I'm gonna have to just pack my shit up and either declare bankruptcy or go home, right?
Get rich or die fucking trying.
Basically, right? That's like, that's the 90s version of it. This is like our version of it, which is like, we gotta figure this shit out. So like, bro, for me, I'm not trying to sit and craft designs for the next year. By the time I get the apparel printing machine, half of those designs I probably wouldn't even like.
Outdated.
They're outdated. We're moving on now to like the next chapter of fashion, the next chapter of trends, right? I'm like, bro, let's get the apparel printing machine. Let's take in the belief, and referencing what I was saying before, we've touched and felt more garments than like probably clothing brand owners that have been in the game for decades. You know, we've touched hundreds, thousands of garments of different unique fabrics, qualities, sizes. Why would we not be good people to operate and run a clothing brand?
For sure.
Why would you not want to believe in yourself that you could like make clothes? It's like 5 a.m., bro. Bro has hot yoga at 9 a.m., you know?
Black Friday sale.
Black Friday sale. All right. Oh, they're boneless.
Yeah, man. Come
Oh
on.
my God.
Come on, dude. You know, man. You know we do this.
Mm.
Yeah, let me have one, yo.
Oh, brother.
Let me see this.
I've never seen someone trip so hard about is there peanuts. Bro.
He's like, yeah, let me come back 15 minutes later.
15 minutes later, yeah, there's fucking so many peanuts. Do you have peanuts in your kitchen? No.
You just want to be pragmatic too. She's like, yo, imagine if she says no, someone has a peanut allergy, they just clap. Better be safe than sorry, you know?
Yo. Fire.
Bro,
Yo, this is fire. What the?
bro, cold wings? Tell me if
That flavor slaps. It's like some like Chinese hukka, like.
Bro, it's some deep, rich flavor, bro.
Yeah.
Like, try to tell me at 5 a.m. this not slapping? Yo. So what were we talking about?
Putting yourself in unique, quote unquote, stressful situations.
But success is the only option.
Yeah. Yeah. No cap.
So yeah.
I just put myself in like the footstep. I put myself in like I think like, yo, any industry, right? What would that person be doing if they were at the highest level? If you were a basketball player and you were trying to make it into the big leagues, you'd probably be renting out court time for a significant chunk of every single day, even if it was your last dollars, because you would know that with the energy and time and dollars that I put up towards this court time, I'm gonna become a better player and eventually make it to the big dollars from the big leagues.
No, I feel like that is a very valuable insight. Oh my God, that's spicy.
Is it?
I've been into a full jalapeno or something.
Should I save like 3 of these for Glorious?
Save 2 of them still. Oh, save 2 of them.
Bro.
Yo, throwing this out would have been a very bad idea.
Yeah, that would have been a terrible idea.
What did you say when the food came? You're like, don't make long-term decisions over temporary feelings?
No, don't make permanent decisions off temporary feelings. Bar, clip that.
Mm-hmm.
Clip that. Don't make permanent decisions off temporary feelings. Meaning, if you're full of mac and wings, okay, and you have leftovers,
That's how the conversation started.
and
Bro said he was full. I said, yeah, that's only temporary feeling.
Yo, you have the steak one, yo?
this one, this one slapped now. You made this decision,
No.
and you're running through shirts, you're burning them,
Yeah.
and you finally get them to pop off. You figure out your strategy. It's not the old vintage that you're trying to recreate. You want to create vintage for the future.
Yeah.
That's the ambition now. So how did it feel like when it finally worked? Like when that Shopify notification, ding, 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 like it finally hit.
Yeah.
What did that feel like?
You start to wonder, like, can I do this again? Like, could I have another hit? If I've had one t-shirt that's done well, do I have it in me to do this again? Like, if I wanted to now craft another one, will I have the same reaction? Right? And you also just can't spend a whole bunch of time now trying to ideate and think. Like, you have to move as quickly as the first one that did well.
Because now there's an expectation.
Because now it's an expectation of, like, this person was capable of making this. Why wouldn't he be able to perform again, right? Let me wash my hands. When it comes to what ended up happening that year, was like, yeah, we had one tee that we put out. It started to do well. It was a face tee of Young Thug. And crazy enough, I'm wearing a face tee right now. And if you guys go back far enough into 2022, you'll know this is one of my favorite t-shirts. I don't know why. It's very comfortable. It's a single stitch t-shirt. It's a literally a random t-shirt from the 90s that's in my closet with a very nice fabric, fam. It just sits on my body nicely and I enjoy it. This shirt, bro, I used to wear.
It's a gal that sits on your body.
It's a gal on my t-shirt. Her name is Michelle Wright. You probably see me wear this t-shirt quite a bit.
You like how she sits on your body, yeah?
I love how she sits on my body.
Oh yeah.
So yo, I was already wearing face tees of like people from the 80s and 90s. I was like, bro, when this shirt was made, Michelle Wright was probably making music. So like if I go and I make music tees now, is it gonna get the same love and attention?
That's a real life vintage shirt?
Bro, this is a real, bam, it's single stitch. If a t-shirt ever is single stitch, your t-shirt is double stitch.
Yeah.
Right? Double stitch typically is 2005 and newer. Single stitch tends to be 1998 and earlier.
Oh, yo, that literally does look like.
It's a vintage t-shirt.
That looks like something Icy would make.
Yeah. We literally make this t-shirt. A lot of people sometimes when I'm wearing it, they ask me, did you make that? And I'm like, nah.
I in this current moment, thought you made that shirt.
You thought I made it, right?
I thought you made it.
Well, it's a vintage t-shirt. But we make stuff like this. But like I just looked at my closet and I was like, yo, okay, this is what was being done in the 80s and 90s. What would somebody present day want? And, you know, we started just making face tees of people that we were inspired by, right? So like now our slogan for our brand is creating art through icons. Just people that I'm inspired by. If I'm fond of their journey, if I feel like there's something to gain from some of the experiences that they talk about either in their music or podcasts or wherever, I'm going to reference them onto clothing. Because I know other people also probably experience some of the inspiration that I get from that person, right? Like, bro, regardless of like Young Thug and the court case that he's had, what his inner workings are with like, you know, the law, I'm not there for. I listen to his music. He talks about obviously like, you know, getting to the bag, you know, figuring out how to like just grow lifestyle. I'm inspired by that.
Lifestyle.
You're right? I'm inspired by that.
It's a lifestyle, man.
It's a lifestyle, bro. I mean, certain artists that I feel like are not putting out a positive message, we don't put on t-shirts. Like, we don't have an NBA Youngboy t-shirt. Me personally, I'm not a fan of NBA Youngboy. I think his music...
He's maximum level crash out.
Yeah, I think his music is weak. I think his messaging in his music is not something I'd want to put on a shirt. Like, any musical artist that I feel like is not kind of pushing, like, positivity, I don't put on a shirt.
Oh, they have to be pushing P?
They gotta be pushing... They gotta be pushing P. They gotta be pushing some positivity for real. They do have to be.
So okay, so now like we encapsulate that journey of the face tees. They're blowing up, they're popping off.
I'll tell you.
Would you call that the most pivotal part of your journey?
Yo, the face tees, yeah, they started to like do well for us. I just stopped caring about, like, obviously, bro, when you've had a previous identity with vintage, like, you just want to keep kind of pushing at what you've already been doing because that's what you've known for that long. So even when you are trying to start a new chapter, you keep trying to reference an old life of yours.
Because it's all you know.
It's all you know, right? So, like, as soon as I stopped, you know, doing that, because fam, I was worried. I was like, if I start selling t-shirts with Young Thug on them, will my vintage audience and my current audience relate to that? Is that corny? Like, is that something that, like, an audience will even cater towards? You know, I start asking these questions and I start wondering, is it gonna work, right? And then we just put it on the market loved it, and you just stop wondering as to like, why was I overthinking it? And then right when one thing starts to work well, your confidence in your product line goes up. You're like, I can do this again. And if I wanted to try out another product similar to this one, it would probably also hit. Started dropping more face tees. Now on our website, I'd say like 50% of our website is just face tees. People come into our shop now, they drive from all over the city and they're like, yo, like I want that face tee, or I want a Kobe face tee, I want a LeBron face tee. But like, you know, these are not just pictures that we put on t-shirts. Like every single face tee that we even make, literally every single t-shirt we make, like either myself or one of the designers on my team, we're making this shirt layer by layer. Some of these t-shirts, they go through weeks of design process, right? So it's not like we just take an image online and we put it onto a t-shirt and we call it a day, but we're really working towards creating designs that are gonna last in the market forever. Like I promise you, like this t-shirt, bro, like I'm wearing this right now 30 years later. Can a t-shirt that Icy made today be in vintage stores in 20 years? That's the big question I have. Like my life's work will actually have value if 20, 30 years from now, it's in vintage stores, which is why I spend so much time trying to create a quality product, right? I think of like messaging like that t-shirt behind us right now, like the doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. Like it's messaging like that. And like you even put that on your shirt too, because you were inspired by that message, right? It's like people I'm inspired by. Like I want people to look at the label on the back of my tags, see our brand, follow along with our journey, and then sometimes even watch some of these videos and be like, yo, they've been working towards this. They've been trying to build this, you know?
Now that, like, you know, this chapter is coming to a close.
Yeah.
What is the most exciting thing to you about the future?
Yeah.
Because there ain't no slowing down.
No, definitely not.
Doubling down.
It's definitely time to double down, for sure.
So what are the plans? Like what's exciting you right now?
Yeah. I haven't really like shared much of this. I mean, you definitely know about it, but like what I haven't mentioned to even like people on my team or even online is the fact that in 2025 we're opening up our second warehouse in the US. So we just closed down our Scarborough location here. We're ending this chapter. We ended up moving our Canadian distribution center / warehouse to now Markham. It's a slightly bigger, but we didn't go crazy big because we knew we were going to end up opening a location in the US. So I applied for my E2 visa early in 2024. We just got the visa approved last week. So come this February of 2025, I'm going to be living there. I'd say about a month from me living there, I should have a warehouse by March. I'll probably invite you by April. You know?
Birthday?
Yeah, I'll probably invite you for like April, you know?
That's it.
Get you out there.
Should I do it? Should we do birthday in Miami this time?
Bro, birthday in Miami literally is confirmed. I've already talked to like your brother about it too. That's a lock.
Say less,
Legit have to.
Oh man,
bro,
that's gonna be my the 21st. That's gonna be legal.
Yeah, 20.
Legal.
Yeah. Wait, why? Oh, wait, that's your 21st birthday too. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Legit have to. Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be insane, man.
Casino vibes, bro. You know what I'm saying? You never been to a casino, right?
I'm not a gambling man.
Not a gambling. I know. You don't even have to be a gambling man to be honest. To like just shut it at the casino a little bit.
You gotta shut it a little bit. Nah, I've been to casinos.
Yeah. You been?
Yeah.
With a fake?
Nah,
You gotta be 19 here. Or 18.
I've been in casinos in Vegas, dude.
Oh, you gotta be 21 though, no?
But you think they're gonna check you? You're gonna ID you, bro? I'm not gambling.
Okay, still.
And I'm dripped out.
Fair enough, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
You think they're gonna ID a guy with Dior shorts walking through the thing? He's like, yo, this guy's 17.
Yeah. No.
Yo, that's why I got my first ever tattoo.
What does it say?
Actions over ideas.
That's gas.
It was on the strip of Vegas.
Real shit?
First ever tattoo.
Yeah.
I rate it.
That's fucking gas.
I almost got harassed by multiple escorts.
Yeah.
Like in the midst of walking.
Of getting your tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was kind of traumatized.
They were like trying to force therapy on you and shit?
Yeah.
Oh, say word.
That was like.
Back to the topic.
Back to the topic still.
Yeah, like yo, I'll be off to Florida in February. I'd say we probably have our second warehouse by April 2025. And yeah, like I really just want to push for a US expansion because over 90% of the Icy business is US based. So it doesn't make sense for us to keep pushing down roots in Canada, a place where, to be honest, bro, I'm banking against this country big time. Like our Canadian dollar is sinking, crime is through the roof. I can go on and on about as to why Canada's not a place where I want to start a family in the next couple of years. So while I still can, I want to extract my family and even extract some of my friends, whoever's down, and head to where I think there's bigger plans for us.
Now, even being at like almost pushing that 8 figures, like you know that this is gonna be more than just the expansion of 8. This is pushing 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, bro. You know what I'm saying? Numbers to the moon. What would you say success is now compared to what it was, you think? Like, how would you define success, like, in this moment now compared to what you thought success was 3 years ago?
I mean, yo, when your back's against the wall, you literally have to only have one form of success, which is like, you got to get paid. You're just thinking about money. When you have no money, you're only thinking about just how can I get paid. But now, once you kind of have a developed brand and you've been in the space long enough and things are starting to work, what you want out of a business starts to change, right? Like, obviously, the goal of a clothing brand owner now, and as a manufacturer too, is like, I want to see clothes in the wild. Like, I want to be able to go to the mall and see multiple people wearing the brand. You go to a mall and you see over 100 people within even a 5-minute walk of you going in and out the mall wearing Nikes, you know, Nike logo. You see like the same clothing brands quite often, like the Reebok, Fila, Adidas. You see the same common streetwear brands, sportswear brand pretty often, no? I want our brand to be in the same conversation. Like, I want the brand to be like within the same kind of day-to-day closet attire that you would put with like your Air Forces. I know that's possible. You know what I'm saying? If they were able to do it within a 15 to 20 year period, why couldn't we, right? If people think in a larger time horizon, why wouldn't they also be able to achieve some of the things that some of these larger companies that we look up to were able to do?
Yeah, I remember like I actually saved this conversation. I recorded it off my other phone. You called me one day and you were telling me about stretching the time horizon. And like, I remember how powerful that felt to me in that moment.
Yeah.
You know, where you told me, we look at this goal, certain goals that we have over a 1 to 2 year time, and the wild ambitions that we have, we love that. Like you said, that pressure with that back against the wall, can we actually do this?
Yeah.
How much can we fucking set the bar higher for ourselves and still destroy it? You know? But from an actual, more sustainable longevity perspective, stretching that time horizon, rather than focusing on trying to do it in 1 to 2 years, what can you accomplish in 5 to 10?
5, yeah. People always think in a short amount of time. Like, anytime people have an idea or they want to work on a business, they always assume, yo, what could I do this year? Like, over a 12-month period, could I blow the business up? But if you just thought about that same idea over a 4-year period, you'd probably get the outcome you're looking for.
But act like right now.
Yeah, like act for the now. Definitely act as if you could make it happen in a year, but you have to also be willing to accept that, bro, these things take time. The thing is, like, my issue with so many people that start businesses is that they don't even allow themselves to work on an idea for a couple years. Most people just give up 6 months, 12 months in, 1 year in. And I try not to beat people up for it. Like, if somebody saw an idea, they tried it for a few months and it didn't work out, it's okay, but bro, it becomes really frustrating, bro. But like if I'm telling you, most people that have successful businesses were unprofitable for several years. Amazon, did you know, was unprofitable for 9 years? For 9 years, Amazon was not profitable.
Yeah.
Right? Even up until when they IPO'd, they were in a deficit every single fucking year. If the largest company in the world, who's now the retailer of every single product, wasn't profitable, why do you think you have to make money on day one, bro?
Same thing applies with Apple.
Yeah.
Same thing applies with any trillion-dollar business, NVIDIA.
If you're profitable, you're not taking enough shots on goal. You're not trying enough things. The whole purpose of a startup is to try new ideas. If we didn't make the pivot from the business that we had before to now, honestly, at this point today, I wouldn't even want to sit here and have this conversation because what have I really accomplished? How have you really improved the business? You were here, now you're there, and you still are selling the same things. You're doing the exact same strategies for marketing, sales. Your team is the exact same. I mean, how would that be an interesting story, bro? You have to be okay with trying to change. That's the fun of life.
What storms have you weathered?
Yeah, what storms have you weathered? The fun of life is trying new, exciting, passionate projects that you are interested in. That's what this whole game is about.
What would you say the most valuable lessons you've learned throughout these last, not even like through your whole business year, but I'm saying these last 3 years because I feel like that's like where you've been supremely serious.
Yeah.
You know, where you've been like genuinely locked in.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you just buy this, bro, it's automatic commitment.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the most valuable lessons you've learned?
Ooh. There's quite a few for sure. I want to pinpoint it exactly down to one for you. Like I feel like the biggest lesson I've learned is that perfection is a trap. If you try to perfect, whether it's a piece of content, it's a fucking strategy for your business, any new idea you're working on, if you try to strive for perfection and you hesitate to put it out, by the time you're ready to drop that either piece of content or idea, you won't even be interested in it anymore. So for me, anytime now, like I have a piece of content that I'm working on, or if I have an idea that has come into my brain, I try to just apply as much execution that I can to it faster. Because looking back to some of the challenges I had early on was I would just sit on a lot of ideas. Like if I thought something, I wouldn't really act on it as quick as I should have, right? You need to be able to bring it to life, bring it to market as fast as possible. As quick as you can coin it in your brain, you should be able to also bring it out.
Damn. If you could go back, like with who you are now,
Yeah.
and let's say you hop in a time machine, hop back 3 years ago,
Yeah.
what are some things that you would do differently?
Yeah. To be honest, bro, if I could go back to 2021, I would hire a lot slower. I felt like back in 2021, I felt like I had to occupy every single role on my team very quickly. So like I came into this warehouse with the mindset that I had to hire quick. I had to hire as many people as I can. It was almost like a status symbol that I was working towards, which is like I have 15 people on my team. Now I have a lot less than that many people on my team, and we're a far more efficient business. We get way more done. Small teams working in unison together on efficient projects get way more done than a large team scrambling. That's for sure, right? So you start to learn more about yourself too. I started to learn that, yo, I could actually handle a lot of the work I was outsourcing to other people. You start to regain the confidence of time in your own hands, right? Like you obviously spend a lot of time like video editing, spending time with like lighting, your equipment, even though you could probably hire a videographer or a photographer because you understand the value of you doing it. You know that you could do it with your own hands and probably the best. So why wouldn't you want to do it, right? So I kind of got to that crossroads this year where I was like, yo, instead of me handing off like marketing or sales or, content strategies to other people, let's see how much I could handle if this was all on my plate. And then I'll delegate as to what's underperforming, right?
So now let's say if you were starting this whole thing all over again, this is young Northware's Manik.
Yeah.
If you could talk to that younger version of yourself, what would you tell him?
Yeah.
What's one thing you would tell him?
I would tell I would tell a younger version to make something. Don't sell something, make something, right? If you want to build a business, you don't want to copy what's already out there, right? As a young reseller, I saw other vintage clothing stores and I was like, I could be that. As a young sneaker store owner, you saw other sneaker resellers and you were like, I could do that, but better. You shouldn't necessarily have a reference point that you're trying to like either imitate or mimic, right? Like you should actually try to just like figure out what your true passion is and just go chase it. A younger version of me would have been a very passionate person in the domain of like music. Who knows? Maybe I would have gone down the rabbit hole of like making music, becoming a producer. Again, I don't know. Maybe I really would have chased down that passion and tried to make money there. I don't know. Maybe an A&R. Maybe I owned like a talent company of some sorts, right? But yeah, just don't copy anybody. Just figure out what your true passion is and just go fucking attack it. You found out your true passion was like video games and content creation, and you went down that rabbit hole. You tried out what you were just uniquely interested in.
How do you find your passion though?
How do you find your passion?
How do you find your passion?
You find your passion by just taking a look at, bro, just go through your fucking Safari history and go take a look at your last 20 visited websites. What kind of content are you consuming? When you go on YouTube, you go through your watch history, what kind of creators are you passionate about? Are you interested in tech? Are you looking at like fucking hip hop research? Are you looking at like geography. Just take a look at where your interests lie and just build a business around it, right? There's always an audience for you waiting on the other side. You just have to figure out what you even like, right? There's no point in trying to like fake a version of yourself that doesn't need to exist, right?
Facts. I think when you do certain things like that, you kind of create a persona where in public that you have to start living up to in private when you're trying to chase certain things, rather than being introspective and self-actualizing, like, okay, cool, like what do I really like? What do I enjoy? What do I want to see? And going out to build that instead of what you think is working right now. And you kind of like, there's kind of a crossroads maybe, but you're just trying to force it. Maybe you're at a stop sign, but that stoplight is there and you're just like, oh, like I'm gonna just say that, yo, my intersection is there just to feel like a part of things. But I think that would probably give you a great level of solace. Being able to succeed in something that like you actually believe in and you actually enjoy. Because I think a lot of people don't have that mindset of a level of abundance. People, I think, one thing that I really like from you as a person, where you help shape the way that I think, something specifically is, do you remember my tweet when I said that I'm gonna go all in on my YouTuber, and how I have my plaques printed up on my wall?
Yeah.
And how I said, when I start something, and we talk about desires often, it's like, when I start something, I don't think of, what if this doesn't work out? It's, what if this does work out?
Yeah.
What are the downsides? Like, everyone knows what the upsides are of if this works out, but what are the downsides?
Yeah.
People think inversely of like, oh, like I'm doing something, like what if I do it and it doesn't work out, when it doesn't work out?
Yeah.
You really had an influential way of shaping the way that I think, like just fundamentally.
Yeah.
And literally drilling that home of being careful about what I desire and just being like, don't think about, like, I think you said something specifically to me, which was like how big would you dream if you knew you couldn't fail?
Yeah.
And bro, I think your answer just reflects that exactly. Is how big would you dream if you knew you couldn't fail?
100%.
So that's fucking crazy, man. I'm trying to think about it too, yo. I don't know if I would have had the ability to, at 15 years old, be like, yo, I'm gonna make Stage a clothing brand, not a fucking reseller of like, because I like Supreme or and all that, and I want to sell this or all these kind of things. But I never had that mindset then. I never had the mindset that, yo, how big would I dream if I knew I couldn't fail? I was just in that same survival mode perspective, which is just natural though. But I do think that if you believe you want to create something to thrive, not to just survive and sustain, you will make much bigger gains. Because if you actually think about it, right? If someone, like, would you say you're more driven to your next goal than, like, right now than you were, let's say 3 years ago, driven to make what you have succeed? Were you more driven?
I'm more driven now?
Are you more driven now, or were you more driven then?
I'd say I was more driven. I mean, it depends on how you define drive, right? But I think I was definitely more driven then.
But at what goal though?
Like, I was more driven then on just trying, like, for survival, like just trying to make the business stay afloat. But like now I'm driven in a different capacity though, right? Like now I'm driven towards like, how do I kind of achieve an upper echelon of like what apparel could look like? If you have a clothing brand, what is like the absolute gold standard of having a clothing brand? It would be managing your own production, owning your supply chain, literally creating everything from scratch, start to finish. You creating your own garments in-house. That is like the fucking gold standard of a clothing brand. That's what Nike does. So like, how do we do that now top down? Right? But like, it's very easy, not easy, but like it's easier for me to see what that looks like now from the new starting point we've created. The new perspective, the new kind of, place that we're at now. When you're here, you have to be hyper driven, right? You're just throwing whatever is at the wall and seeing whatever could end up stick around, right?
I would also like when you look at how much harder and more effective you have to work.
Yeah.
It's like when you're at 0 trying to get to 10,000.
Yeah, you got to work way harder.
When you're at 0 trying to get to 10,000 versus you're at 1 million trying to get to 5 million.
Way easier. Was that like Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger quote? Like the first 100K is the hardest.
Yeah.
You've seen that one?
Yeah.
It's 100% the most challenging to get.
Yeah.
But like once you get to like 100, like a mil becomes pretty easy.
Yeah.
1 to 5 is much easier.
Yeah, for sure.
The first 100K took years, like 30 fucking full years.
If this warehouse could talk right now, what story do you think it would tell?
If the warehouse had eyes, it would see somebody who has no clue what he's doing, just trying to figure out how to run a business effectively day by day. Like, I feel like there's no way I could act like at 22 years old I knew what I was doing, but could you let yourself figure it out, you know?
Most definitely. Now, closing up literally the last day here.
Yeah.
What does this warehouse symbolize for you? What does this journey symbolize for you?
Bro, it symbolizes my starting point, my first real commercial warehouse. It symbolizes me creating a clothing brand, ending my chapter of selling, 80s, 90s used apparel. It symbolizes my family coming together because my mom and my dad work for a brand that I started, right? So they started working here together. My little sister right now just went off to university. Her plan is when she graduates, she's gonna be working with the business. So the business brought my family back together. That's been my biggest life's win.
Damn.
I saw my dad in this warehouse get his dream car. So, I mean, this warehouse is a very special place for me. I see my dad crying here. I've seen my mom crying here. I've seen staff members crying here. I've shed a few tears in here, a couple nights, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's a very, very emotional place for me. And it's a place where, it literally built my entire character, my entire existence at some point lived in this space. Friends and family used to come here and obviously support in various different ways, like whether it was copying apparel or taking photos of the interior of the warehouse to spread to people they knew, right? But I had a lot of hands, I had a lot of support. The friends and family that I have, brother, you don't understand. I've had so many helping hands build this shit. I'm just beyond grateful, bro.
Came a long way, but so far to go.
100%.
But we gave the audience what they wanted, man. They see us sitting, they see us talking, they're like, yo, drop a pod.
Yeah.
But we did it.
We did it,
And
bro.
we did it.
While sitting on a lawn chair, you sitting on a fucking used clothing box. Broski in the back sitting on a
foldable chair.
Foldable chair. Not a single piece of furniture in the warehouse, bro. Just fucking tees and a sign.
Just a dream and a dollar.
Dream and a dollar, man.
That's what it is.
Vibes open here, bro. Appreciate you, fam. Real shit, man.
Always.
I really enjoyed this, man.
You know what it is.
It's 5:30, almost 6 a.m. right now. He's
brother,
yawning it up.
It is actually 5:53 a.m.
Bro has a hot yoga class in 3 hours right now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, do what you gotta do, man.
This is crazy. This is crazy.
All right, man.
That was something. That was something for sure, bro.
Fam, that was a lot of fun.
That was something for sure.
That was a lot of fun.
Holy.